Everyone starts with fire in their eyes, but very few make it to the finish line. Why? Because starting is easy. Finishing is for the strong. The world is full of people who almost made it. But history doesn't remember the ones who nearly crossed the line. It remembers the finishers. Talk is cheap. Promises mean nothing. The only thing that proves your strength, your character, is this. Do you finish what you start? Welcome to Stoic Blend, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Today, we explore the brutal truth behind why most people quit, and why you must never be one of them. Most people never finish. Everyone starts something. A new goal, a dream, a routine, a project. They light up with excitement, post about it, tell their friends, get fired up, and say, "This time, it's different." And for a few days, maybe it is. They wake up early. They grind. They push hard until the excitement wears off. Then reality kicks in. The work gets heavy. The path gets dark. That's when the truth comes out, because this journey doesn't hand out trophies for trying. No shortcuts, no guarantees. Just effort, pain, discipline, sacrifice. And that's where most people fold. They stop. They quit. They pivot. They say, maybe it wasn't meant to be. But not you. Because this isn't about hype anymore. This is about war. A war against excuses, against laziness, against the weaker version of yourself. You don't flinch. You don't wait for the perfect mood. You just do what must be done. Because those who are cut from a different cloth, they know this. If you start something, you finish it. No matter how long it takes. No matter how painful it gets. No matter how many storms hit. You finish what you start. That's the line between a boy with dreams and a man with purpose. The world only respects the finisher. Let's get this straight. The world doesn't care if you almost made it. No one writes books about almost. No one remembers the guy who nearly succeeded. You can't hang your life on, "I tried." That's the story of every man too weak to push through. But the finisher? That man becomes legend. He might have started off lost. He might have stumbled. But he kept his eyes forward and crossed the line. Because finishing isn't just a result, it's an identity. It's who you become in the process. You develop character. You sharpen your mind. You stretch your limits. There are two types of men in this world. The talker, who never backs it up, and the doer, who shows up, does the work, and lets the results speak. Every time you quit halfway, you're training your mind to fail. One excuse at a time. You're giving yourself a way out. But every time you push through heaven, when your body screams, "Stop," even when your mind says, "Enough," you build a mindset that can't be broken. Every drop of sweat, every moment of discomfort, it all becomes fuel. Because real power doesn't come from the body. It comes from the mind. Discipline. That's the weapon. That's what builds nations. That's what outlasts lifetimes. When you tame that beast, you don't just change, you transform everything around you. The greatest warriors, they weren't born that way. The strongest minds, they weren't gifted from birth. They earned it. By finishing what they started. By becoming the man who doesn't stop. Finishing is more than crossing a line, it's about who you become on the way there. You stop being a man who needs motivation. You become the man who moves regardless. It doesn't matter how many times you've failed. It doesn't matter how many times life knocks you down. What matters is this. You get back up. You finish. Because finishers shape their destiny. And every time you push through heaven when quitting would feel easier, you're building something unbreakable. You're becoming something rare. You're becoming unstoppable. No one respects the man who quits. Not your friends, not your family, not the world. When you quit halfway, what you're really saying is, "I'm not built for this," and the world believes it. But when you finish, especially when no one's watching, you send a message that's louder than words. You were built for this. You had the fire, the courage, the grit, to keep going when others fell. So the next time you're tempted to stop, ask yourself, are you the kind of person who gives up halfway? Or are you the one who finishes? Most people don't finish because they chase perfection. They tweak, they delay. They wait for the perfect plan, the perfect moment. And slowly, their dream dies not with a bang, but in silence. Here's the truth. Perfection is a lie. There's no perfect time. No perfect version of you waiting in the future. There's only now. If you want to change your life, stop waiting. Start finishing. Because done is what builds momentum. And momentum turns average men into machines. The more things you finish, even small ones, the more your identity shifts. You stop calling yourself a dreamer. You become a doer, a closer, a builder. Finishing creates internal pride, real confidence. The kind that doesn't come from applause, it comes from discipline. You can read every book, watch every video, but none of it matters if you never finish. You'll become the man with potential, but no performance. And the world doesn't reward potential. It rewards results. Results only come from execution. Not when it's easy, not when you feel inspired, but when it's boring, when it's painful, when it's quiet, and you still keep going. That's what separates the strong from the soft. You don't need perfect. You need grit. That goal you wrote down 3 months ago, that project you left unfinished, go back and finish it. Even if it's ugly, even if you're unsure, even if no one claps. Because finishing changes your mind, your character, your entire trajectory. Don't chase polish, chase execution. Pick a direction. Move. Figure it out on the way. Because you'd rather fail swinging than rot standing still. So, finish the workout. Finish the business. Finish the mission. You don't get stronger by quitting halfway. You don't build anything waiting for perfect. You finish. Then you fix. Then you grow. Over and over again. That's how you become the man who doesn't need motivation because he has discipline. And discipline is the force that forges legends. So burn this into your soul. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. If this hit you deep, show some strength, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're one of the few who finish strong, drop a comment below. I finish what I start. Let's see who's really built for this.